Okay, so I've been using Linux for a week, and you might be wondering, well, this isn't really Linux, this is Windows XP, right? Look at this. We have the iconic hill wallpaper. Look at the start menu here. And, this part over here seems a bit different. But maybe it's just like a weird Windows XP version. Well, it is a weird Windows XP version because it is not Windows. This is Linux Mint. To show you, here it is. This is Linux Mint with a Windows XP theme. Pretty cool. So, today I want to talk a little bit about my experience with using Linux Mint for a whole week. Now, has been a week of using Mint. So far, there have been hiccups, but I like it. I really do, because it's very similar to just a normal Windows experience. Yeah, so I'm gonna open up my script here to see what I want to talk about. Alright, so let's start with the reason why I switched in the first place. Well, I saw the PewDiePie video. PewDiePie made a video about switching over to Linux, and it's a great video. Now, in this video, he talked about Windows being, well, it's not really Windows, it's Microsoft, right? Microsoft being a very shitty company and taking advantage of the entire Windows market. And I have to say, I kind of agree with him. Like, Windows for the past few years has just been really hard to work with. As a casual user who just wants to do casual stuff, Windows really does put a lot of things that you don't need, and it kind of sucks. Now, in terms of convenience, it is still more convenient to use Windows because everything that people have made in terms of software and stuff will be made with Windows in mind first, right? And like, it's definitely a lot more easier to just stay with Windows, but Windows 10 is end of life. You can't keep using Windows 10 anymore, and Windows 10 is like probably the last quote unquote good version of Windows. Like, everything I saw with Windows 11 is just, it's really not selling to me, right? It doesn't convince me to switch over, and the fact that they want to force you to do it too, it's like, it's a bit scummy. I don't like it, and I don't want to support them any longer. So that's why I make the switch this time. Now, I have used Linux before, but I use a very jank setup along with it. What I did was I saw some ordinary gamers video about virtual machines and basically make like a two computers at once type shit, right? I thought it was very cool, and I tried it for a while. I tried running it around for 6 months, and I should have done that because that is like an expert kind of thing to do. It's with someone that understands how Linux works and shit, and how virtualization works. I did get it to work back then, and it was really interesting seeing it working. But it was a lot of hassle, a lot of things just doesn't work along the ways. I have to use Arch, right? Things break all the time because, Arch is about cutting edge features and technology in comparison to Debian based, where Debian focus a lot more on like stabilizations and stuff. So I just couldn't stick out with it, and I kind of just gave up on that. I went back to Windows because a lot of stuff I wanted to use was still Windows, right? So I didn't make the switch until now that I've used Windows again for like 3 more years, and it's getting so tiring now. Just seeing things that should work not working, right? And don't get me wrong, it's not like that thing doesn't happen here on Linux. It definitely will, and definitely does happen, and it did happen. It's just that the difference is when it happens on Linux, it will probably tell you why compared to Windows, where when it doesn't work, it just doesn't say anything, right? Also, when things doesn't work on Windows, it's surprisingly it's harder to find solutions compared to Linux. Like when I was like trying to set up like Steam and stuff, right, with Linux, like when I come across a problem, I just type in a problem and then put Linux at the end. There's always like a solution, but when it's just the problem and it's like on Windows, right? It's like there's 10 different solutions, and it's like you have to choose, you have to try all of it until one of them eventually works, and it kind of messes up with your system and stuff. Yeah, it's like the other thing. I just couldn't stand like things just stop working on Windows, right? And then they start shoving you like AI stuff, the Copilot stuff, putting ads everywhere, even in Solitaire. They put ads like, are you kidding me? It's Solitaire, right? Then with the whole activate Windows stuff, it's like, oh man, there's just so much to just have like a gaming machine, right? It's like so much stuff that you don't really need. Windows like bloat a lot. I had to clear out a drive that was using Windows to boot, and like what 80 gigs were taken by Windows stuff only. It's there's so much of space just wasted. You know what I mean? Because with Linux, like you don't really like that thing doesn't really like bloat doesn't really happen because it'll only just put stuff when you tell it to, right? Usually with update managers, it will only update stuff you already has, but it doesn't really add more, right? And this is not what's happening with Windows. So there's that. What else do I say here? Oh yeah, fuck Microsoft. Can't stand them. They suck. So how was the process? You know, how's the week has been so far? Well, I decided on just buying completely new SSD so that I can still dual boot at least if I ever needed to go back to Windows, which I do. Uh, I went back a few times already because you know things doesn't work. When things doesn't work here, I just go back and try and find a solution or try to like troubleshooting. Like Steam was having issues. My download speed in Steam for some reason is slow. So then I tried testing it between the two systems, and it looks like it's a Steam issue. So then I downloaded Heroic Launcher here to test test out like a different store download speed, and then boom, yeah, it's like a Steam problem. And so then I had to figure out how to uninstall Steam. I try the software manager uninstall, right? I try uninstalling here, and then I try downloading with command line, the terminal, and then I had to remove that one because that one doesn't work. Apparently, I downloaded FlatHub version or whatever. I tried to download a different one. It's a lot of things that happened, but it's probably just on my part. It's not really like the OS fault, I think, because things were working. It's not working to what I expected. Now the problem is, I found out is that I was on a a different DNS, or a DNS server. So like I just changed that, and my Steam speeds went back up to normal. So yeah, it's like small stuff that isn't really the OS's fault, right? But it definitely is a hurdle, right? There's definitely a bump. There's definitely a bump on the road to you come across, right? It happens. It's a very different system. It's new. Like, problems will be there, and you will come across it at some point. And that's that. Oh yeah, like my mouse not working. So I have a cooler master mouse. There's been issues with cooler master devices, specifically with Linux. They don't like each other apparently. I don't know why. That it kind of pisses me off. Like, why is it such a problem, right? Why? Because it seems to be cooler master specifically. Because I have a wireless keyboard too, and it seems to work fine how it should be working. Function keys work as well out of the box with Mint. But yeah, like that one was weird. What I did is I just set to the mouse to no sleep, so battery might be drained a bit faster, but like I don't have to reconnect the mouse every time. Like it would just disconnect randomly because it's wireless. So I had to reattach the dongle to get it to work again. But yeah, I just turn on no sleep on the mouse. I go back to Windows, open the Cooler Master program, make sure it never sleeps, and it just turns on forever. And yeah, there's been a few times where it would just disconnect randomly, but it's not a frequent. That's the word. Yeah, it happens like once every day, at random. But it's mostly because I left the mouse untouched, and it's probably has something to do with it. Probably a sleep thing that happens, even though it says never sleep. I don't know why. But that's that. Yeah. I said talk about Software Manager here. Well, let's talk a little bit about Software Manager. I can't believe this. Like, man, I know Windows have the Microsoft Store, but when has people used it? You know what I mean? Like, it puzzles me because, when you have a new computer, like, let's think about your phone, right? You got a new phone. What's the first thing you do? You go to the Play Store to get some apps that you want to use, right? That's what you usually do. And it's very intuitive there because it's like it's presented to you. It's always there on the like default homepage. It always just say their app store on most phones, right? But for some reason, for Windows, that's not really obvious, and it's kind of puzzling. And it's worse as well on Windows because they make a specific Windows version of applications that already existed, and I don't understand why they do that. Well, I mean, I get why. It's not I don't understand. I get why. It's because they want to have it cut, right? Like, if you download through Microsoft Store, Microsoft will get a cut from the application software company. If, for example, if it is install Discord here, like imagine this is a Microsoft Store, right? If I install using this, then Microsoft will get a cut from Discord. I get why that's the reason, but I don't get why they want a Windows specific version of that application. You know what I mean? Like, why not just? I don't know how it works. I don't know. Point is, why is it not intuitive with Windows, right? With Linux Mint here, it makes so much sense to just go to something called Software Manager. Look for the programs you want and just click install. Right. Just click install and it installed. And you can just use it. Doesn't make sense to me why it's not as intuitive as that on Windows. And it takes me... Like, it takes Linux Mint for that to happen. You know what I mean? Now, of course, there are some apps that's just not on here. I don't have a specific example. But probably like browsers, right? I think Opera GX is not here. Yeah, something like that. Like most browsers are on here, but like there are some that isn't. Stuff like that. I think is Chrome in here. I think Chrome is here. Google. On Google. Maybe not. Maybe not here. Point is, it should be as intuitive as opening a program that installs applications for you, right? So that's something I found cool with Software Manager. And the other thing is, if you want to go the elitist route, you can always just install with command line, right? What do I not have? I don't know. Let's update. You can just always install with the command line. Something like that. And it will install for you. Right? Sudo apt install. Okay. Install Kava. Oh, I already did. Okay. And then you just run the program. There you go. Alright, so now let's talk about what else do I want to say? Terminal. Like you can use terminal to just get like stuff that you want. You can clone from GitHub with Git. Right, it's so good. Okay, this thing where new people new to Linux are like afraid of the command line for some reason. Now I can tell you I can tell you one thing right now about a command line is that it's not gonna do anything that you didn't tell it to do. What do I mean by that? So as long as you don't type in like dumb commands and like some stuff they don't work as well. You can't just say this isn't like ChatGPT, you can't just say please install Steam for me, thank you. Right? Something like that. So it won't do anything stupid. The only thing that it will do is the things that you tell it to do. So for example, installing stuff, sudo apt install, I don't know, GIMP. Right? Then that's what it will install. For example. It won't do anything else other than that. So there's really nothing to be afraid of with the terminal. Especially nowadays where there's like endless resources of code, command lines, and forums, like for example the Arch Wiki, right? Installation guide. This all just runs you through the command line. It basically tells you what it does. See, it's all about reading the manual. See, with Windows, you never really read a manual for it, right? Because why would you read a manual for a computer? It doesn't make sense. No, the reality is what doesn't make sense is why didn't we read manuals for computers? Computers are not simple. They're kind of complicated. Even Windows. Remember when the first time we used a computer and we just don't know what to do with it, right? It is a complicated machine. But, if you just read a manual, like with the Arch Wiki installation, for example, everything would work just fine most of the time. Most of the time, there's sometimes where the manual might be outdated and nobody like tries to update it or whatever, right? Stuff like that does happen, especially with more like a niche versions of Linux or whatever. It does happen. But if you go with the most popular version, like I'm doing right now, just use Mint or Ubuntu, whatever's popular, right? Fedora. There's probably a lot of documentation, a lot of FAQs, and there's forums that you can go to just find help. Look at this. This is the welcome screen for Linux Mint. The first time you install it, it'll show you this when you start the computer. And it tells you to do your first steps. This is what's good. And then documentation if you want to learn a bit about Mint. And then the help section, which leads you to the forum that tells you everything you want. You can probably search, search gaming here, for example. There's a lot of questions about gaming that you're probably having, right? For example, like this one, primary screen, right? If you have a multi-screen setup, this might already be an answer for that if you're having a problem with that. So, it's really it's a lot easier now with things like this, and using the easy distro, so to speak. So it's just a lot better. You just follow, right? Yeah, and oh yeah, keyboard shortcuts. This I love. This I love so much. Now I know with Windows you can use auto hotkey, but that's using a different software, a third-party one. I think it's just a bit lazy, right? To just let someone else do your work. With Mint here, you can just go here. Oh wait, this is the wrong stuff. Just go to system settings. You can go to your keyboard, and there it is. Shortcuts for what you want. In general, you can do troubleshooting, or with your pointer, your mouse pointer. You can just set a keybind there. So Windows, which I do use, like this for example, right? Workspaces, this is the one I use the most. Direct navigation. Switching to workspaces. Oh god, I gotta tell you guys about workspaces now. What is a workspace? So a workspace is basically different screens, right? So imagine having like a dual screen setup. You would have this as the main screen, maybe something like this on your second screen, right? Like your socials and maybe Spotify. The workspaces are basically, more screen space. And instead of using alt tabs and cycling through individual applications, you can just go to a workspace, have an application open that you want. For example, this is my web browser. And then just switch in between. And since you can set up multiple, you don't even have to. You don't have to like. I mean, you're not limited to just a certain type of configuration, right? That what I currently have right now. I have 4 workspaces. One is for OBS here, and just like my current screen recording. And then I can just have web browser tab specifically for web browsers, right? So I can watch Connor. Shout out my boy Connor. Love the guy. I can go back here without even like alt tabbing, right? Scrolling through tabs, trying to find my web browser, for example. I just click my shortcut key and it goes there. And if I just want to find my game, I know I'll just put it on workspace 2. I'll just go workspace 2 and bam, I get to play my game. Maybe turn on the audio. And bam, we're gaming, right? It's so quick and convenient. Like this is how it should be, you know what I mean? This is how you can, you know, be efficient. Now, do a person like me need to be efficient? Probably not. I'm not a very efficient person, but I like being able to do stuff like this because it's convenient. Like, somehow it's more convenient than what it used to be, you know what I mean? Like in Windows. Oh wow, I can go in here. I didn't even know that. Can I go here? No, I can't. So yeah, in Windows, there are workspaces in Windows, but scrolling through them is not as effective as Linux make it, right? This is very sharp and quick. And it's very cool to be able to just do this. That's a lot of money, oh my god. Where am I? Yeah, I got completely distracted, man. This game is so cool, I like this game a lot. This is Sleeping Dogs, by the way. It's basically GTA China. Wow, that just happened. That's crazy. Okay, going back, is there anything else I want to talk about? I already say what's... And I already kind of talked about how's it going. Oh yeah, Bluetooth functionalities. This is just a little bit of extra. You know, I'm connected with my phone here, and what's cool is that I can play audio from my phone, and it is very cool. You know, I'm using earphones when I'm on my PC, so it's kind of a hassle to like take it out to listen to my phone. And there was a solution for this in Windows. Just open a random video here. That's an ad on YouTube playing because I don't have YouTube Premium on phone. Well, yeah. So there was a workaround for this on Windows. You can go to the Microsoft Store and find something called Bluetooth Audio Receiver. Something like this. Yeah, there it is. And you can connect Bluetooth to your phone and basically switch it to a speaker, right? Switching your PC to a speaker for your phone. But what Linux did is basically just put that in natively, so then you can just it's just ready to go. Like it's a default function, you know, something that is just there, and I just find it so cool that you can just do that. Also, yeah, speaking of, I can just make my own theme. Well, this isn't really my own, right? But if I want to make my own theme, I can. This is just XP, because I thought it'd be funny, right? To just have Windows XP as a theme. Like, the seemingly old operating system somehow has a very modern system behind it with shit like this. And yeah, it's really cool. This is how it's going so far. This is my experience with Linux so far. And yeah, gaming performance, surprisingly, now this is an old game, so that's why it's pretty easy to run, but surprisingly better than Windows. I think it's because, you know, Windows has a lot of bloat, so Linux with less bloat will just run the game better. But I'm surprised that it did, because, you know, when you play a game on Linux, it is running under a layer called Proton, which translates the Windows like coding language into a Linux specific one, which is what that basically means is just adding another layer on top of the game, which should mean that it uses some more like processing power, right? But surprisingly, with the power of Steam's research and development, like it's come to a point where it runs better at some point. Like for some games, it just runs better on Linux. And like I can't believe like this, it's real, you know. Like, 10 years ago, we weren't even thinking of gaming on Linux, but now it's like, and here it is. It's amazing. Again, I did run this game because it's easier to just get it running. I don't have a really good PC, right? Fight Neofetch again. You'll see my specs. You know, like I have a very old GPU, so yeah. But yeah, like so far the first week, pretty happy with how it is right now. There's not that many things that I would change, because I'm basically back to my previous state. Now on Windows, I would just use it to play games and web browsers, right? And that's basically it. And there are a few things I did as well. It's just like audio production, stuff like that. I played a guitar a little bit. That part I need to figure out. Like, I don't know yet. I know a lot of people already said like audio production on Linux is a nightmare. So we'll see. Maybe that's like one reason for me to dual boot. Again, like if things would break, I can just always go back, right? I have the option, which is nice. But yeah, like it's been so great so far. Now a bit about the future. I kind of want to do this video again, this type of video, an update video, maybe like 6 months from now, something, a year, I don't know. I'll do it when I wanted to share my experience, right? But I want to make a follow-up video in the future. And what I want to do is to have Unix porn-like setups. What do I mean by this? Well, as you all know, Linux is very highly customizable, which somehow spawns an entire community about called racing, right? You would race your Linux machines like how you would race a racing car. So racing, for those who don't know, this basically means race-inspired cosmetic enhancement. That's the abbreviation I was looking for. So it makes like normal everyday cars looks like race cars, right? That's what racing is. And we use this term basically with Linux to make a Linux system look better, like this one, for example. And you guys just got rickrolled, by the way. Get wrecked. This is like completely their own theme, you know? They made it this way. They just make their own stuff here. Like, you don't see a Windows machine looking like this. You don't see a Mac OS machine looking like this, right? And this is something I want to do in the future, is maybe make my own config or a theme and make my own like rights or whatever, right? I'm thinking of, because I'm on Debian, I'm thinking of i3. And I want to rice i3 to look like Hyperland. I don't know if that's possible, but you know, we'll figure it out. I just find shit like this so cool, you know. Massive nerd, right? Nerdy shit like this, I like it a lot. I like nerdy shit like this. Well, so yeah, it's like, it's your own thing. Like, this person is making their own thing here. Their own like bar up here. And it is truly embodies the word personal computer, right? It's your own. You make it do what you want, however you want it. And it's just so cool. I like it a lot. This is a mint rice with i3. I'm aiming for something maybe like this, right? A little bit minimal like this. Something similar to this, and I think I'll be pretty happy with. But we'll see how it is in the future. But yeah, that's. Did I have anything else? What did I say here? What else did I say here? Yeah, and that's about it. And here I say the video title so that I remember what to title it. Yeah, okay. That's all. This is a very long. Well, I don't know how long this is. Again, I said I will try out DaVinci Resolve. Oh yeah, right. If this video is edited, now it'll be pretty obvious if I upload it edited or not. If it is edited, then I am currently trying out DaVinci Resolve. I hope I like it. I've been using Premiere Pro a lot. I don't know. I don't like the system Premiere Pro got is good, but I don't like the company at all. Adobe sucks. Fuck that guy. And like even as good as Premiere Pro is, it still breaks all the time. You know, and just random crashes and shit like that. So it's not perfect regardless. It's just that I'm very used to it. Now that I'm trying out DaVinci Resolve, maybe it's gonna be very different sort of things that I need to get used to again, and it's gonna take a lot of work. I don't know when this video is gonna come out. Right now, as of recording, it's May 15th. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. Hopefully I edit it quick, because I want this to be shared quickly. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can close this now. Save it. Close this. Oh shit. Close this. Bang. And see you guys.